One. And we are live on TCTV Channel 8 and YouTube.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Hi.
So this is the Templeton Cultural Council meeting for January 19th, starting at 7 o'clock. And what else do I need to do? I always forget this part. So we're gathered today just to discuss, we have to approve our meeting minutes, and we have some regular housekeeping to start with before we start doing anything else, okay? Can everybody hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. So did everybody get the agenda that Pat Gale sent out?
Yes.
And,
Thank you, Pat.
Thank you for those who corrected me already. Obviously, I don't know what day of the week it is, so.
Well, it did change too, so. Okay, so so the meeting minutes. So, I'm sorry, I'm kind of handicapped. Trying to figure out. Okay. So do I just read them, right, Pat?
You don't really have to read them. I think everybody's got a copy. So if anybody has any corrections to those August 31st meeting minutes that I sent out, if you have any corrections, tell me and I'll fix them. Otherwise, they will be approved and put up on the town website.
Okay. I approve it. Does anybody second it?
I second.
Who is that?
Sally.
Okay. Do we have a vote in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Aye.
Thank you.
Oh, there, is that me? Yeah, there we go. Okay. I'm just trying to make sure we're up on the YouTube thing. Okay. All right. So then we'll move right along to treasurer's report and information regarding the 2021 budget and the allocation from Mass Cultural Council and the town budget. And that I'll introduce Pat Gale.
Okay, this is going to be sort of a provisional treasurer's report because I have a Zoom meeting set up on Thursday with Veronica from the state because it's really confusing to do the treasurer's report right now because we had a couple of things happen. Of course, we have money left over from people that didn't use it last year. We had money left over from people who didn't use it 2 years ago. That has to come back in.
I forgot about that.
We have money that we've held over from people who asked for extensions. So that money's there somewhere. And in the middle of all of this, our town accountant has left and gone to Florida. And they haven't got a new town accountant in there yet.
Okay.
So I haven't had anybody that I could really talk to about it. I had some questions about the town funds. And we have had questions over the last couple of years of how the town and the state are counting our town funds because, the town gives us some money, but then they take it back if we don't use it, whatever we don't use as of June 30th.
Correct.
Gets taken back, but the state form doesn't account for some of these things. So I have a meeting set up on Thursday with the state to figure out just how I need to be sure I figure it out right, because there's been a whole lot of things that are coming together this year. And I'm a little bit worried. I want to make sure we don't try to allocate more money than we have. So I can tell you what I know right now that I assume is right. And after my meeting Thursday, I can send you out a more complete report telling you where we really stand. We did have money left over from last year. My figuring is we have like $6,700 left from last year. Except that we just paid a bill actually they haven't paid it yet, but I've given it to the town to pay. And we had $856 left over from 2019 that, Jackie, you had a program that didn't happen, the weather program, the world's worst weather. We never paid a bill for that.
We did have that program, so I'm not sure why. Why?
Did you get paid for it?
Now that I think about it, I don't know.
Uh-oh.
Would you check on that? Because we're carrying that as
I will.
as having not occurred.
It
Because
did
we have-
occur. I went
Because
to
we haven't.
Yeah, I know that I requested a check from the accountant so that I would have it on the actual program date. So maybe I never submitted a reimbursement from your committee.
Okay, we need to have a reimbursement form.
Sure, I'll do that.
So,
Oh, that would help. Yeah. No, it would just help to clean it up, you know?
Right.
yeah, well,
right.
because whatever it was, I don't know, it was like $400 or something
Yep.
that we're carrying on our books as being money still available.
Okay, I'll get on that.
Okay. So that's going to affect what I thought we had. And then we have, and we still have that $396 of fundraising kicking around that we thought we were going to get rid of last year. And then because of COVID, we weren't able to do a program, so we haven't used it. So that's part of what I'm trying to work out with the state to figure out where it fits into this form, because they really don't accommodate for something like that in this form that they give us. So we have somewhere around $7,000 of 2019 and 2020 money that is available for reallocating to or regranting to people. We did or are holding off money. It's $521 by my account for people that ask for extensions. I think we've approved some. I think there's one we're supposed to discuss tonight.
Correct.
So there's that money sitting there that it's on our books, but we can't allocate it yet for other grants. But the state did give us for this 2021 fiscal year, they're giving us $7,300 for grants. The town in their budget has given us $1,625, except some of it is not money that we can actually use. It's this money that's called support.
Okay, that's if we need a lawyer or anything like that, correct?
Yeah. So I think Barbara figured out that we have like $1,250 from the town that we could use for programming and supplies.
Okay.
So if everything comes together the way I think it's going to come together, we're going to have somewhere in the vicinity of $14,000 to spend.
Woo!
Which is actually more than we have requests for this year.
Wouldn't that be nice if we could spread it all around? That would be so good.
Yeah, so one of the things we'll have to discuss along the way when we're getting into it is some of the options we have for using. The state did give guidelines for if you actually have more money this year than you have grants for, because they know that people are ending up with extra money because of last year's cancellations. So we can discuss those options when you're ready to discuss those options. But the state did make allowances for that. So, theoretically, we could potentially grant every grant that people have asked for. We may not want to, depending on if you may not like some of the applications. There's something you really don't think is appropriate or necessary. But if you wanted to, we could probably go through and approve everything, or we could approve more for somebody than they actually asked for. You know, if their program costs more than they've asked us for, we could give them extra according to the state guidelines. So there's a lot of crazy options this year. So, but I think we're going to have about $14,000 to give out in grants this year.
Well, that's exciting.
It is, but don't expect to see it again because
Yeah. No, but I mean, I say like,
yeah.
I mean, I think we should try to do as best we can with everybody. You know what I mean? I mean, it's been such a bad year for everybody that I think the state would really push for us to do as much as we can with all these artists and such. So,
well, and they have, and like I say, they have a number of options here. I printed out from the state website. You can, because they're thinking there may be fewer people actually applying this year because they don't know, you know, if they're going to be able to go out and do anything or get a little.
Yeah, everything's too up in the air, so they didn't want to.
So they're saying that if you have fewer applicants, we may use our funds for mitigation purposes through the creation of a relief fund, so that you could have money available. So that if an artist or something needs some kind of help, that we have like a little relief kitty to give them. You can, give them some money for like lost income or lost revenues, or making programming work in the environment, so that if they need it for technology costs that they haven't accounted for in the past, we could set up no, I guess they're just calling it a relief fund. I don't know what else they call it.
Right, and then
that's one option. And like I said, another option is you can actually give a grant that's more than they've requested. Like sometimes some of our people will ask for, like for the schools, a lot of times we've given half of the ticket cost or something. But if we need to, we could, or if we wanted to, we could give more of the ticket cost. If somebody's asked for $300 for lighting, I think Gala asked for $300 for lighting, but their lighting is actually going to cost $600, but they've only asked us for $300. We could say, we'll give you more than the $300. So there are options available to you, and all this stuff is on the that Mass Culture Toolkit website.
right.
So anybody wants to go in there and poke around, or I can send you a copy of the stuff that I printed out.
And everybody should have the password, correct, to get into that?
Yeah.
Because everything that we're talking about tonight it's on that website under all the different tabs. And even if you click on one tab, it kind of brings you through the whole thing anyway. So I started reading through it and I was like, oh, okay, all right. And but if you need us to, like Pat said, she'll send it to you if you need it. So, well, that's exciting. I'm kind of hoping we could kind of just give all the money away.
Well, one way or another, we have to either grant it out, or like I say, set up a fund, or as in the past, don't forget what we've done is we've saved some of it for our own programming. We're allowed to save 15% for our own programming. So if we still want to do a performance at the beginning of the arts festival,
okay,
we would set ourselves a grant for that.
And that's we can also use that $396 also, because if we're gonna do that, I'd really like to use that money towards it, because it seems to be a nightmare for every year when somebody goes to do the budget and what we're proving and saving. So like we had said last year, that we really wanted to use that money. So definitely that if we do the arts festival entertainment, definitely the $396 will be used for that. And then if you think we need to set aside like another $200 or whatever it ends up costing, we still have to find somebody, right?
Yeah, but I think it would be wise if we do set aside money out of the state grant for us in case we wanted to do. I mean, we might even want to do something else, you know,
Okay.
depending on how things are going. Once things open up,
People are going to be,
summer,
Um,
you know, we might want to sponsor some other kind of a performance or something. If Jackie decided she wanted to do the farmers market, even though she hadn't planned on it, you know, we could sponsor entertainment at the farmers market out of our programming funds.
yeah, that would be great. Yeah. So. Okay, well, that's exciting. That's a lot. Oh. Okay, so are we all comfortable with what Pat had discussed, and we're good with it?
Yes.
Okay.
So as soon as I get information from the state on Thursday, you know, I'll try to put it all down in a form that's easy to follow, and I'll send it out to everybody so you have a better understanding of where we stand.
Okay. Thank you, Pat, for that. And okay, so so that was the treasurer's report. So are we all in favor of moving on to the next topic?
Yes.
Which is vote on requested modification extension of the 2020 grant for World War II Letters program. They sent us a letter a couple weeks ago. Actually, it was like right at Christmas time, and asking for an extension. I just said to them, I'm not sure if it'll be a problem or not, but we have to vote on it. I can't just say, yes, we'll do it. So I wanted to make sure that everybody on the committee was fine with me contacting them, letting them know that their grant has been extended into the 2021 season because, and again, it's for COVID. Everything was not, this was not canceled, it was postponed. So if everybody's in favor of allowing that to happen and grant the extension.
So moved.
So moved. I second it. Thank you, Pat. You can tell I was tripping over my words and I needed your help. Okay, so that's good. I'll contact them and let them know. All right, and then we'll move on to review of previously modified extended 2020 grants.
Yeah, you sent me that short list, and I forget what I did with it. It's in this stack of stuff here, but if you remember what they are.
I email.
One of the Winchendon things, I think we.
Yes, and it was, I don't have access to my email with everything here. I know I sent it to you.
And I've got this pile of papers on my desk that got really deep today when I was trying to figure out the finances.
One second. I apologize.
I know it's here. Okay, on hold I have the Winchendon Wins concert series. That was $200 that we said we could hold for next year. And I have the Mom's World War II letters.
Okay, yeah.
And those are the only ones that I have marked as a hold. We did pay a couple of people, even though they didn't have their, we paid the high school, even though they didn't actually hold their event, but they had, remember we agreed because they had shelled out money for royalties and stuff. So even though the high school wasn't able to put on a performance, they had spent the money in anticipation of putting out the performance.
Was that Ann Lyons?
Yes.
She's already received that money.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
So we did pay that. And and there was one other. Oh, the Winchendon Music Festival. We paid them the $289 because they did something virtually.
Okay, so they're all set then. Okay.
So we used that. They had requested a modification, and their modification ended up being to go online and do a virtual program. And I think at the last meeting we said that would be okay.
Okay. And then it was Winchendon Winds
Winchton Winds is Winchton Winds. We were holding
holding it.
holding it for the next year. Yeah.
Now, they have one for fiscal year. They have a request for fiscal year 21 as well for $100. I see.
What they're saying in their narrative is that they're asking for, they're going to do an extra concert if we approve the $100. So instead of a 5-concert series this summer, they'll do a 6-concert. They'll use our $200 from last year and add $100, and they'll throw in another concert.
And they are allowed to apply for multiple grants if something's not funded completely. So sometimes you will see that people will reapply for something if it's not fully funded. So, okay. And so do you think that's
And those are, as far as I know, those are the only ones that we're sitting on right now. Everything else either took place before the COVID thing hit or was canceled. A lot of the stuff was just out now canceled because people couldn't do anything.
right? Okay, so are we all set with that? Are we ready to move on to topic 5, initial review and discussion of the 2021 panel book? Are we supposed to move? You go, girl. Okay. And all right. So, has everybody had a chance to look at the panel book?
All 208 pages.
I know. My eyes started to cross after a while because, you got to keep paying attention. And I kept hitting the wrong button and it kept going back up. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Thank you, Pat. Mine was awesome.
Yeah, the short form is easier.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, I do have the short form, but I wanted to make sure I read everything.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to print out all those pages either.
No, the town did print us a full copy, all 208 pages, and put it in a binder.
Oh,
So
I love that.
For our records, we do have a full printed copy because the alternative would have been I would have taken it to Staples and have it printed and bill the town for it. But they did it right at the selectman's office.
Yeah, because I was asking Kirk to do that for me today, and he's like, "Do you know how much it's going to cost you?" And I was like, "There's nothing I could do about it. I need it."
Yeah.
So I'm glad.
Yeah, I have a binder here with a full copy. If anybody wants to sit and read it all, you're welcome to borrow it from my little library.
I did download it, so I have it if I need a reference, but thank you again for getting that done. And okay, so are we all ready to discuss? So the first one is the National Foreign Language Week. And let's see if I can get there.
Yeah, by my figuring, by the way, I added up those requests today, and I think it comes to $12,810.
Mm.
And as I said, we definitely have that much available. If we were to, combine our town money and our state money, I'm sure that we have $12,000 available.
Great.
I mean, are we thinking that we're just going to go ahead and approve everything? Or
No,
okay.
there may be something in here we don't want to fully fund and would rather allocate some money to something else. And we don't have to decide that tonight because we have to have a voting meeting later on.
Yeah.
But you want to just give a sense of which, or get a sense of what programs you like or don't like, or where we might want to give more or less than what they're asking.
So, okay, so the first one is the National Foreign Language Week, and it's the World Language Department of NRHS is hoping to provide the cultural experience of having the band, I'm not going to say this right, and forgive me, Mona Sawa perform for the school and the committee. The band is made up of members from counties, including countries. Including Ecuador, Colombia, Mexico, and Peru. The tunes played are primarily traditional to the Andes to South America. And it's 4 members. and
they're planning on doing that at the football field.
I was excited to see that.
The COVID stuff, I'm thinking they probably should be able to do that, whether or not, things are back to normal.
Right. And they're asking for 500. And the next one is the Generations of Fun, Songs and Stories. That's Davis Bates. And that's usually a council on aging, and it's usually held at the senior center.
Well, he was at the library was it 2 years ago? He was at the library during the
Farmers Market.
Farmers Market. Thank you, Jackie. During the Farmers Market. That's when I first saw him. He performed quite a wonderful program. And then this past year, he was at the senior center.
So he's really good for the community. You think that he's
I
really
love
good?
him. Oh, he interacts well with the audience. And he's funny, and he brings puppets, and he harks back to maybe 200 years ago, playing instruments that were around back then. He's really very personable.
Oh, nice.
And he has a good aura around him. I mean, the way he dresses, he's just really a neat guy. I really enjoy him personally. The 2 times I've seen him, he's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, he seems like everybody's very receptive of him whether it's the farmers market or the senior center. It seems like everybody enjoys his performance.
His write-up was even fun.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I loved how he wrote about him and what he does, and
Yeah.
so okay. And the next one is To Life Celebration Story. Oh, did I miss something? No, that's a different guy. That's John Porcino. Now, the one thing about that, he does not have a venue.
Okay, I was going to discuss that with you. I contacted Veronica, our state connection for the Cultural Council, and I asked her about this because our guidelines say that preference will be given to applicants who have shown upfront planning by having a time, date, and venue lined up. Most of the time in the past, we have kind of rejected those people out of hand, saying, because we had more applications than we did money, and we said, well, these other people have taken the time and the effort to come up with a location. So we gave them preference, and the guys that didn't have the venue lined up fell to the wayside. So I asked the state, are we allowed to get in touch with these people and maybe help them find a location in town, because they may just not be aware of what's available. And the state said, yes, we can, and we can work with them and help them out. So I did contact, not this guy, I contacted somebody else further down the list. And I said, we don't have a lot of big venues around here for holding a large audience. And I said, how do you feel about, how much room do you need? And could you do it outside? Because I was thinking the only places I could think of would be a place like the Legion Hall or a school, maybe the high school auditorium if it was going to be a big audience thing. And those would actually involve some additional funding, because if you want to rent the high school auditorium, you got to pay for the janitor and all those things. And I didn't know if we might want to have to figure that into any fund that we kept aside for administration or whatever they're calling it. To anyhow, he said he would be, the one that I talked to said he'd be perfectly happy doing it on the Templeton Common Bandstand, which in fact would be a really good location especially considering the COVID thing, and that a lot of other towns have had his program on their town common. So I think same thing with this John Porcino, whatever he is. if we liked if we liked the idea of his program, we could potentially work with him to find a location, maybe on the library lawn or at the Historical Society garden or the town common or.
Yeah, because in his application, that's exactly what he says: a school, a library, a senior center.
Yeah,
So
he didn't have a location, but we could help him find one. And if there was and the same thing, if there was a cost involved, we could actually increase his grant if we wanted to cover, or use some of our available grant money to cover the cost if we had to pay $100 to rent the Legion Hall or something. So I just want to say we don't have to reject him out of hand. If you like the sound of his program, we don't have to reject him out of hand because he doesn't have a venue, especially in this COVID year when things are so up in the air that you don't know what locations may or may not be open.
I think his program seems very similar to Davis Bates, I think, doesn't it? A storyteller, singer.
Yeah, one of them, I think it might have been, was it his that sounded maybe more youth oriented? One of them sounded more youth oriented.
I think Davis Bates.
Oh no, I'm thinking of Jesse Green sounded more youth oriented.
Oh, yeah.
yes, chainsaw. Oh, is that him?
Yeah, that
Chainsaw cheeseburgers. Yeah, that's I think more youthful. But because he does reference the kids, Oh. But I just wanted to make sure everybody knew that again, I agree with you. We don't have to reject him because he doesn't have a venue, but he would have to find one, or we would have to help him find one. Correct?
I think the senior center would I can't speak for the senior center, but I think that might be a fun program for the senior center's always looking for programs, but I just don't know that. Or the historical society.
They didn't ask us. The senior center didn't ask for a lot this year, and I think it may be because there's new
leadership there.
So they didn't ask for as many as they usually do. So that might be something to keep in mind.
And we can steer him towards there. Or like you had said, though, even like the library lawn, come June-ish, as long as it could be held outside, or I don't know how many people would fit in the library. Okay. And then the next one is the duo pianists.
And that's a virtual program. That's an online.
Right. Which is good because depending on whatever's going on, it's still going to reach quite a big audience, not just in one isolated area. So I think that'd be.
This is the person that said they were going to work with the cable TV. I don't know if Steve is still online listening. They were going to try to work with cable TV to present this show, and it would only be licensed to like our cable TV station, because obviously if we were going to give them money, it couldn't be played all over the place because they're applying for us. So they said they were going to work with the cable TV station.
Yeah, I recorded performance, which we are only licensing to participating communities. A live pre-concert lecture with your community via Zoom directly followed by a recorded performance.
So have they reached out to you, Steve?
Yeah, this is the first I've heard of it. Or actually what you sent me last week, Pat, I think, on it. I mean, I'm not opposed to it. We'll work with them, but I'm unclear as to whether it's going to be pre-recorded for us to air like the Davis Bates thing was, and another performer, I think the senior center is working with, wants to do the same, or if they're expecting us to record it.
Mm-hmm.
If they're expecting us to record it, they should ask.
My guess from reading their.
It says would coordinate with you.
My guess is that it was something that they would record in a studio or something. I don't think they would be just like setting up their pianos, on the town lawn, so. I'm guessing it's I'm guessing they have it pre-recorded in a studio, and then we'll just license it through you to air on
That would be
TV.
fine. Although the 2 grand pianos on the town common would be pretty cool too.
I think it would be great. Yeah.
But could we, Steve, you and I, could we try to get them to you and them to connect so that
Sure.
before we vote on the money at our voting meeting,
Yep.
you could see if it's viable, if it's possible.
Absolutely.
And if it's not, we would know whether we could put it in or not.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay. Next one is Winchendon Wins 2021 Expanded Concert Series.
That's the one that we're holding $200 for them from last year. And they said they would add another, if we give them this $100 this year, they would add another concert. And these concerts are held, I always get these two confused. It's in Winchendon.
The Unitarian Universal Church.
What?
That's where it says it's going to take place.
Okay, because I know one of these Winchendon ones is an old center, and the other one is downtown.
Yeah, it's right downtown on Central Street.
Okay.
So like I say, we're already holding the $200 for them, and they're asking for another 100 to expand it for an extra concert this year.
Okay. Okay, and then the next one is the WMF, which is I'm sorry, I'm trying to get there. Winchendon Music Festival.
Now that's a lot of money. We didn't give them anywhere near that last year.
Yeah, they're asking for $1,000.
Yeah, and we didn't give them.
Did that say they were going to expand on that, make more concerts?
I think that was it, or was that the other? Well, which
No,
one?
I'm not sure.
I wish they didn't have similar names.
Yeah.
The Winchendon Music Festival, we gave them, 2 years ago, we gave them $200. Wasn't it?
So the summary is the WMF has offered a variety of programs each year. We hope to present several, if not all, 2020 artists in 2021. The 2020 lineup is. So they're going to use all the artists from last year that was supposed to perform for the 2021 year. And it's a free concert.
I mean, $1,000 is a lot, and we haven't given them that much in the past.
Looks like we gave them $289 last year.
They're the ones we gave $289.
Right.
I knew there's one of them we gave $289, and it was that $289 was an odd number because the Historical Society had asked for a grant. They asked for $21 when we had reimbursed them, I think, for the previous years.
That's right.
So we had paid out $21, and we had this odd amount left over, and that was why we granted the $289, because it rounded our calculations up to an even number. So
yeah,
okay,
and they're not even going to any other LCC or anything. They just came right to us for the total amount. A lot of these grants, when you look through, like some have gone to other LCCs, and that's why some people only ask us for like $200 versus $1,000.
Wouldn't they be getting money from the Winchendon? Wouldn't they be applying to the Winchendon Council? I mean, the thing is in Winchendon.
Yeah, usually Parks and Rec is involved in those concert series.
Yeah, so maybe they're not getting it maybe not from the Winchendon Council. Maybe they're getting it from someplace else. But I would assume they're getting some money from Winchendon.
Yeah, but it says on this, you know how they say total projects expenses if they're getting it, you know, stipends or whatever. It says $1,000 is what they're asking for the salaries, and total projects expense is $1,000. So they just came right to us. So.
Well, I'd like
But
to.
that doesn't mean that we have to give them the $1,000. But we're just discussing it right now. So I mean, like you said, Sally, last year we didn't give them everything that they asked for, and we have to spread the money around. So
Could we make it like 300?
We do.
Oh, absolutely.
We do a 300. We could do a 500. You know, and
Yeah, we could split it in half, or 350. I'd like to get. I'd like to touch upon everybody as far as like trying to help everybody, because every artist has really had an issue this year, really hit hard. So not that we're saying yes or no, we're just discussing it right now, but they just, I don't know. I'm kind of lost for words.
I'd like to take.
We'll go back to that. You know what I mean? As far as how much we end up giving them.
Well, that's why we have a voting meeting, next month or
Right.
whatever. I would like to dig a little deeper into there. I have a summary here also. I don't have the full book. I'd like to understand a little bit better if they aren't getting any money from someplace else. What the real cost, because I can't imagine $1,000 covers that whole festival.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
There must be other money involved.
because it says project expenses, and you know how they're supposed to do the breakdown.
Yeah.
Space rental is 0, marketing promotion is 0, supplies are 0, capital expenditures is 0, and the $1,000 is the salaries or stipends. So it may be.
But like Nicole said, if they're working with the town, there must be other things involved. I can't believe. I don't think $1,000 covers this whole concert series.
Right.
I wouldn't think.
Okay. All right. Well, like you said, we're just discussing it right now. So, we've given them to them in the past, so I don't foresee why we wouldn't give them again. But like you said, it doesn't have to be the exact dollar amount they're asking for either.
So actually, Nicole, if you hear any other or can find any other information about how this one works, if you hear anything in town or know anybody in town to.
Okay, I can find out some information. Yeah, I know Parks and Rec was involved in all the concert series at Gar Park. So I would imagine there's probably some money from that side of things going towards it too. But I'll find out tomorrow.
Yeah, and they could just be trying to get the salaries for the musicians, and then the Parks and Recreation are paying for everything else.
Yeah, like posters and advertising and things like that. Sure. Maybe porta potties, things like that.
Important stuff.
Yeah, it's kind of important. Okay, so the next one is
Sean Fuller.
I was just saying the acoustic memories for seniors. Date is to be determined because of COVID, but I think there's a note even in there from them that they really want to have it, and they'll work with them. Just like David Bates, he really worked hard, and they ended up having it outside. As long as the performers are willing to be outside, but also the patrons that are going to come see it are willing to go outside. And I think a lot of people at this stage of the game, they're doing whatever they can to either for entertainment to be outside and get some fresh air and. Yeah,
this grant request came from Sean Fullerton, but it did come with a supporting letter from the senior center that they would like to have this performance.
Right. So they're going to do anything in their power to make it happen. And I have no doubt, especially when it came with the David Bates, that's what they did for him as well. So it's just a matter of, and that's the whole thing. We also have to be mindful of dates. And just because I believe it was Virginia that brought it up to me that some things that the grants are already in here are the dates have already changed because of COVID, and that will be again throughout the year as if they shut down, if they open up, or if they shrink it. So we just have to be mindful that we might have to have a couple of meetings just to say the dates. But right now, nothing's etched in stone anyway because nobody's granted anything. So things shift, and it's the new normal, I guess, right? So that, so does, we didn't even really discuss what he was going to do. Sorry.
Well, I think Sean Fullerton, according to the application, this would, or from what Cindy Shea said in her supporting letter, he'll be entertainment at the grand opening of the senior center whenever that's allowed by COVID regulations. Is that what I read in her supporting?
Yeah.
Right.
Because the senior center wants to have a grand, we never had a grand opening. It's been there 5 years, more than 5 years, and we never did have a grand opening for one reason or another. The roof had to be fixed. There was no siding. So this would...
Yeah, it says grand reopening. Yep.
Yeah, grand reopening.
And why not? You know, I mean, everybody needs to celebrate now because everything just seems so dark. Let's see. So he performed songs and best solo act. He was awarded and stuff. So that's cool. And so then the next one, and please interrupt me if I'm not discussing what you guys want to discuss or, okay, so then the next one is the light fixtures for the gala. Gardner Area League of Artists. They're looking for light fixtures, assistance with funding the light fixtures for that. And they're asking $300 for that. And then I think the next one is for them also, isn't it? Yeah, the gala. So they put in for, oh, what did I do? I shrunk it. Oh my God, I can't do that.
Actually, I think that one shrank on its own when you look at it because the next page was a bigger page or something. I think it messed up the.
Okay, because I was like, oh my God, I can barely see it as it is. Yeah. So then they asked for another. They're putting in another grant for the gala annual spring art show, and there's no date on that. Of course, this certainly is going to be a venue, but they because of COVID, they don't know when it's going to be open.
Well, the art show they're tagging it in May, but you know this is the one that actually last year they were going to have their spring art show, then they made it a fall art show.
Correct.
And then they ended up canceling it altogether.
Correct.
So they're trying again this year. So.
Yeah, and then that project they're asking us for $300. So a total of $600 for them, but two separate things. And the next one is, sorry. I love how they attached all their flyers and everything when they applied. The Narragansett Middle School for their D. Cordova Sculpture Park and Museum. They're requesting that, and that would be in the fall 2021. And that's a popular thing with the students, right? Every year?
They go every year, yeah.
Yeah, and I think...
And that one, you want to take a look at the numbers. You know, for those of you that I sent this short summary of just the description pages, please take a look at their actual application on that, because they're asking for money for tickets for admissions. And keep in mind that we can't pay for the adults. We can pay for the students, but we don't pay for the chaperones.
Oh.
And we don't pay for the bus.
And we don't pay for the bus.
Oh.
So
right.
But when you're doing your figuring on how much you want to give them, just, you know, now that's not to say we couldn't give them the same amount of money, but if we wanted to pay a bigger percentage of the tickets. I don't remember what the numbers were on that. But
So the tickets are $700 for the students. The chaperones are $168, and the bus transportation is $800. So basically, they're looking from us $830. But because we really can't pay for the chaperones or the bus, I think the total would be like $700. Correct?
Yeah, and I'm not sure because I can't remember at the moment whether the $700 covers the full cost of the student admission or if it's a discounted. You know, if because I think in the past we paid like on some of these we paid like half of the student ticket cost.
Last year was $550.
Right. Yeah, $550 last year, and they're asking. Didn't they ask the same amount though last year, like $700?
It could.
And we ended up.
But we didn't give them the full amount.
Okay.
I'm just saying I don't know if the tickets actually cost $7. They could cost $8, $9, $10. I mean, I have no idea what the tickets actually cost compared to what they're asking.
Yeah, maybe this year we could do the $700 for the tickets, and then the chaperones would have to either pay for themselves, and we can't pay for transportation. So,
okay. And one of the things is there is the Mass Cultural Council does have other grant programs that will cover things like transportation. This program doesn't, but but organizations
they could apply.
They can apply to to these other grant programs for transportation.
Okay, I didn't realize that. I know there's other things, but I didn't realize that. So, so it is possible that they could get some kind of grant, but they would have to fill out completely different applications.
Yeah, it's a different it's a different program.
Okay, but I know that the council, we usually try to do this for these kids every year. So I'm just in my opinion, if we can swing the $700 for the tickets this year, I think it would be a really good idea. But again, we vote on it, so that's just me being me. Let's see. The next one is Dr. the Machine Jesse Green. And his project is Chainsaws, Cheeseburgers, and Rock and Roll Live. And he's talking about 2,000 peoples it would serve. And it's
well, that's assuming that's assuming he does it online, like with a Zoom. He said he can have 2,000 people on his Zoom thing.
Correct. Right. Yeah. And he's asking for 500. But I mean, once they have it on Zoom, does that mean everybody can see it after? I
don't think so. I think it's a one-shot performance that you have to be there at the time that it's on. So that's why I'm not sure. I'm not sure whether this would be coordinated with if this should be coordinated like with a school group or even with like scout groups or something, so that.
Yeah, because he's saying it's live, is fun, funny, extremely inspiring, talking, a super fast-paced slideshow with live narration designed to capture and hold the attention of even the hardest to reach. For over 6 years, I'm trying to just get a quick. Yeah, I can't just remember everything that I read.
I think in the past, he's done this as a live performance, but because of the COVID situation, he's proposing that this year he would do it online, and you would sign in just like we did, but for a large group, which could be a school group, or it could be anybody in town, or it could be, like I say, it could be work with the scouts or something. I'm not sure. I'm a little unsure about just how he's proposing this program.
Yeah, like the venue, like type. How's it going to get across? I get that it's going to be virtual, but with who? Like, does he already have somebody?
I don't think so.
In high school, then elementary. Yeah, that one I wasn't sure how he was going to pull it off, because, I mean, do we find him a venue to do this, or does he find it?
I don't know.
Okay. All right. Well, we won't waste time. We'll move on.
I just have a question. Who is going to ask these questions to the people applying for these grants? Do we designate someone from our team right now to say you will contact this person, or
That's a good idea, Virginia.
I'm just hearing, we'll contact, but I'm not hearing who.
Yeah.
Or
You
how.
volunteering?
Oh, I can do that. I mean, or someone else. Maybe we can split them up. If we have questions, maybe we can assign an application to a different member of our team, so that one person doesn't do everything. But
I already did one.
I know. That's my thought, but I don't know how you wanted to make that happen.
Okay, so far we feel that we need to talk to John Porcino. He was the one that we weren't sure where his venue was. He remember we said maybe a library, maybe a school. He wasn't quite sure. He was the third one down on the list. And then you, Pat, you had already did the well, we'll get to that, but you've already done one. And then this chainsaw cheeseburger guy. I mean, I don't have a problem kicking him off an email, but because I don't really know how to go about getting someone a venue. I just don't. So I'm a little vague on it. If I say, well, you can do it at Town Hall or the library, do I give them Jackie Prime's name? Do I give City Hall's name?
But this one in particular, the thing is, he's saying it's virtual. I just don't understand how it works.
So that would, and again, that would go back to, we would have to have him contact TCTV if he's going to do it in our area. No?
It sounds like this is why I'm confused. It sounds like he has the Zoom set up that he can get 2,000 people signed on to his Zoom thing. So
okay.
it really wouldn't be a TCTV thing. I just don't know how he said it would be suitable to any grade level. Through middle school may be the best. I don't know if that means that he wants to work with a school, or if he should work with the schools, or if the schools would be interested, or.
So I'll contact him, and then I will contact Chainsaw Cheeseburger Guy and ask. I'm sorry, I shouldn't call him that. 444996444. Oh well, Jesse Green. I'll kick him off an email and just ask him to elaborate, because we're still talking about the grants and we want to understand what his audience is and how he gets the audience. Does that make sense? Okay, as long as, because we want to understand who he's going to reach if we grant him the money. Is that fair? Is that what we're looking for?
Yep.
And so what about John Porcino?
Do you want to follow up on that one, Virginia? See if maybe the senior center would be interested, or
I can. Yeah. But we're not. Are we supposed to find him a venue, or is he supposed to find a venue himself? I'm new to the team here, so I'm not.
Yeah. Well, we've never done this before, but I would think that we could maybe
match him up.
Maybe feel out first the senior center and see if they would be interested in another program, because maybe they've already got enough that they wouldn't be interested.
Okay, I can easily.
If they weren't, maybe if you talk to the town librarian, she might be interested in having something at the library.
Yeah.
Or on the library lawn, or
When I peruse my memory banks, I know that I had John Porcino come out, and I've been at the library for almost 26 years, so it was probably a good 15 years ago. And I remember him being great. I do remember him being more geared towards children. So whether he's changed that up, I don't know, but it's worth looking into.
would the library be interested in
Sure, if we could do something outside, like Lisa had suggested in the summer, I think that would be really nice.
So, I apologize, I cut you off. So if Virginia contacts him and suggests that, does he call you, Jackie?
Yeah, he can give me a call over at the library. That would be fine. We can set a date.
Okay, so the library rather than the senior center, for the primary venue,
unless
probably.
Unless he's really changed things up. He was definitely geared more towards children.
Okay, so I'll contact him and give him your contact information, Jackie.
That would be great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, will do.
Okay, so that take care of that. One down. And then I'll call Mr. Green, Jesse Green. Well, I won't call. Either I'll call him or send him an email. I'm not sure. And okay, so that's good. Just because I want to understand. Like, I get what Pat's saying about. He probably already has the whole Zoom thing done, and he can invite as many people. I just want to understand more about it. So, okay. All right, the next one is build a flag woodworking workshop.
That's cool.
Clear path for veterans. I think that's really cool. Hands-on, really nice.
I think my only question on this one was he said his audience would be like 40 veterans. I don't know, do you think we'd get 40 veterans in town to sign up for this program? It's $1,000. So I mean, it's a big chunk of our funding.
Right. That's.
I'm just wondering.
I could say that I know that Sheila Pelletier, a veteran service officer, does a weekly food giveaway program for veterans at the Legion. She could talk it up. I know they give away probably a minimum of 35 boxes per week at the Legion. So I think, she's a really dynamic person. She's got a real handle on the veterans locally. And I think she could promote the heck out of it. And I don't think it's unreasonable to expect that number of vets to participate. Sounds like a really cool program.
Yeah, it sounded interesting. I just didn't know if the audience is there for $1,000.
So this is several sessions over the year. Is that am I remembering correctly? Several sessions where they would complete the flag.
They're going to make something. I don't think it said how many times they were going to meet.
Oh, I thought it was during sessions during the year. I don't know. That's what I thought I read.
Well, we're on the last Monday. Oh, here it is. The last Monday of the month, January to December.
Yeah. So
I don't know. They may have started. They may be starting already. But maybe not because of the COVID thing.
And they don't have the money, right? I mean,
they don't have the money yet.
Templeton has 888 veterans, of which 170 are disabled and 507 are 65 or older. So it's program will run the last Monday of the month, January through December. So it's a full year program because they can only have so many people per month.
So is it different people every month, or the same people every month working on their
I'm
project?
guessing it would take you more than one program, one session, right, to make something?
Right.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but the total project is $7,200. So the master workshop, woodworker is the chunk of $1,200 of that. So, the supplies $3,600. Well, I think that's a great program though, because something that they served, they're building, something that they, served for us, they're building a flag and.
Well, it's an audience we haven't reached out to before because we've done a lot with seniors, we've done a lot with schools.
But yeah, I don't.
But this is an audience we haven't reached out to. That's why I just didn't know if how big the audience is. That's all.
Yeah. I appreciate, Jackie, your input on that. Okay.
And there would be I'm thinking there could be a neat display at the end of the program. That might be another program itself, or maybe at the next Cabin Fever exhibit of the Historical Society, maybe having all these flags on display that have been created. I think that would be a wonderful drawing point, and a neat show right there.
Great idea.
And something for maybe TCTV would be interested in covering it a little bit, the progress or something.
Oh, the process of how they got involved in it and everything. Yeah.
And so it could be this could connect to many different networks in our town.
Okay. So then the next one is Concifer Senior Center. And that is, pardon me, Dan Kerouac.
Yeah.
I
think he applied last year, and I think we did not give him funding last year, I think.
Easy listening, pop, light rock, 1950s to 1970s. I don't think it came with a letter, though, right?
He's well known in the area. Yeah. He's done concerts for many senior centers. He just did one in this fall at the Gardner Senior Center. We had an outdoor meeting, and I think it was held at it was Gardner Senior Center, but I think it was held at the Templeton Fish and Game Club, I think, somewhere in Templeton.
Oh, okay.
But he performed, so he's done a lot of shows in the area at senior centers, and
so a lot of.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, I cut you off. So so a lot of seniors look forward to seeing him, is what you're saying in the area.
He's well known, and he's part of a Beatles tribute band. Okay. I think it's Beatles for Sale, which is very popular.
Yeah,
but I mean, he's performed a lot of places. He's been seen a lot by a lot of people already. I guess is what I'm.
Yeah, I think we've sponsored him in the past at the senior center, but he did not do one here last year. That's where I'm getting at, because sometimes some of these folks come back year after year for for grants, and I kind of like to
spread it around
up a little bit, but he did not perform here last year, so.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, again, we're just discussing, and everybody has to we have to vote on everything at the next meeting. So, all right. The next one is the Narragansett Historical Society, and it is for Motapalooza. And that's definitely, at the Templeton Common, and I believe we've done that every year since they've applied, correct?
Yeah, it got canceled last year.
Right. So,
they use the money for a band is what they're requesting.
Right, and that's right at that bandstand, correct?
No, they do. Actually, I think in the past, they had the band actually in front of the Historical Society building, that little.
No, it's been in the Gazette, in the bandstand. It's usually in the bandstand.
This the gazebo thing.
Yeah, but he had one year. I remember he had the 1,000 Acre Swamp Band. The Steve Babineau's band, and it wasn't in the bandstand one year. It was in front of. But regardless, it was in front of the common there. But
okay.
But we've funded their band for a number of years.
Okay. All right. And so then next one, that's Motapalooza. So they're what are they asking? 600. Okay. All right. And the next one is the Narragansett Historical Society again, and this is for the Lucy Stone Tea. the garden tea recognizing Lucy Stone, which I'm very excited about because we did not, we really wanted to do that last year. So,
and it would have been so good right before the election and stuff. It would, it's just too bad. The timing.
It would have been beautiful. 100 years and just the craziness of the election. It would have been great. How important our vote is,
Yeah, but a lot of communities had events scheduled around the 100th anniversary, and they had to cancel them last year because of all this. So we'll try it again.
Yep, try it again. Oh, I'm looking forward to seeing that.
It'll be beautiful anyway.
Right. And let's see. Okay, so the next one is the Historical Society again, and that is Pro Kite Day.
Yeah, he wants to bring in a kite professional after the kite festival to show people how it's really done, I guess. Or
okay. And then wasn't there one for the kite festival itself also?
Yeah, that's a band one, I think. Yeah.
That's a band one too. Okay.
This one would be for a. It's almost
a country
more educational rather than more the fun end. You know.
What the how to fly a kite, the professional one?
Yeah,
is more educational. Yeah. Do you think? How do you think that will go in the community? Do you think we'd have a lot of people out for that? I mean, it's kind of hard to say because when you think one way and then you don't, and then tons of people show up.
But it's something. It would be something different. We've never done it before. I don't know.
Right.
Sounds like it could be confusing for people. They'll think it's the same thing they usually go to.
Well, I think first you would go to the kite festival, and then that would get you all enthusiastic to see, wow, let's have professional kites. These are going to be actual professional kites. Maybe a display in the sky of all these beautiful professional kites. So the kite festival for children and with the balloons and everything kind of wets your whistle to come and see this really wonderful edition.
Do you think that he's doing that all on the same day?
No, he's talking about a couple weeks later.
Okay. All right, and then of course the kite festival, and that's usually a country band, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then Fitchburg Art Museum.
I'll tell you that, just as an aside, that kite festival last year, it was the only thing that was happening in town amid the COVID pandemic business. And it was such a great event. We had a booth there. And it was just super. People had a great time.
Yeah, and didn't they say it was one of the best ones they've had? They had a really good showing. They had some really nice kites, and it just felt good to be out too. Yeah. I think that's and it was an outside thing, so a lot of people came.
It was a great event.
Yep.
Okay, and then the next one is the Fitchburg Art Museum. They are 85th Regional Exhibit of Arts and Crafts.
Is that something we normally do?
We've never been asked to help fund this before, but it is open to artists from within 25-mile radius, basically, of Fitchburg. It's a big show. Hopefully they can do it this year. It's mostly indoors. In the past they've had some of the sculptures and stuff outdoors. But it's a really big community event, and they've never asked us to help out before. Of course, the museum, like everybody else, has been really hurt by the COVID thing, so they're probably expanding their look for their search for some funding.
And it seems like it's over a period of time. It's not like just one event. It's an exhibition.
It's all summer. It's all summer.
Right.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, and they're asking for 200 from us. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's not much.
I mean, it's not much, and it sounds interesting.
Yeah.
You know, for the area.
Yeah, we've
So-
had people from around here have been entered in it before. It's a juried show, so it's not just like, you know, I can't do a little scribble and then get it hung up in the museum. They do it. The pieces are judged and selected for the show. So it is a quality show. I'll tell you a little secret. I was working at the art museum when they had their 50th annual regional show. So it was a while ago.
They also put in a note saying that if it ends up that they can't have this again, the Fitchburg Art Museum, that they are actually thinking about doing something virtual with it.
Mm-hmm.
So if we do grant them the $200, at least we know that they might be able to go through with something, and then many people will be able to see it online. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Okay, and then the Historical Society again, Cabin Fever. That's always very interesting because it's so many different collections that you just don't realize what people are passionate about. And I think I said that the first one I went to, which how I got on the Templeton Cultural Council, was I went and this woman had all these amazing fountain pens. Mm-hmm. And I was just amazed that, you know, and last year, was it Brian Tanguay's wife? She had all the little purses, and stuff. It was very interesting. So, and then, you know, like the lady with the Betty Boop stuff, and it was interesting. I think it's a nice day for people to come out and check out other people's collections.
If you haven't been to the Cabin Fever, the cable TV channel shows it pretty often. Tune in and see these, because it really is an interesting show.
And Pat brought her collection of old phonographs one year, which was fascinating.
I did.
Cylinders, and she was actually playing some of the records from what's your earliest? Well,
they're from the 1900-ish.
Yeah, it was cool. It was cool.
Oh, that would have been interesting to see.
Come to my house sometime. We'll dig them all out and we'll play.
Okay, I'll help you dig them out. After my arm's better, though. Let's see. So the next one is Ken Long's.
Yeah, he's the guy that I did get in touch with.
He's the Bad News Jazz. Is that who he is?
Yeah. He has a jazz band. It's a 19-piece jazz band, and I thought it sounded really, really interesting, but he didn't have a location, and that was why I contacted him to see what kind of a location he would use, hoping that, you know, at the very least, I could put him in touch with somebody who would have, you know, a suitable spot. And he said they would love to do it on the town common on the gazebo.
Yeah, I think that would be
and that would be
excellent.
This would I think would be a very, very popular program. It's a little expensive, but I think there's a big audience for this kind of music.
Yeah, a lot of people like jazz and blues, and being cooped up and being able to be outside in your own lawn chair and listening to some really good music, I think it would be really great.
We don't have, you know, we used to have the community band concerts on the Common on Sundays, and we haven't had a community band for a number of years now. And I think a lot of people miss those concerts on the Common, so I thought this would be, I think it would be very popular.
Okay. It sounds really great. I think it sounds like it would be really great, especially in the Common. Okay. And thank you for reaching out to them.
Good for getting spirits up.
Oh, did
Yeah.
I?
It would.
Yeah. I I'm sorry. I misheard you. I thought you said I missed Spirits Up. I was like, what? We all miss our spirits being up, right? Okay, the next one is music, dance, education, and this is at Council on Aging for the Senior Center, and it's a hip hop dance chair exercise for seniors.
And this is one they applied last year, and I think we did not fund them. We did not fund them last year. They applied. I think they may have done it 2 or 3 years ago. I think they might have performed at the senior center, but we didn't fund them last year.
Okay.
We ran out of money.
Okay. And Johnny Appleseed Trail Association. The Appleseed Country Fair live entertainment portion.
Yeah, this is a whole weekend. It's a Labor Day weekend. At the Red Apple Farm, and they have bands, entertainment all weekend. Same thing. They've never applied before, but they get thousands of people going up there. So if you're looking at, we say bang for the buck. They had a lot of people up there.
Okay, multi-community people up there. Okay. And they're asking for $1,000.
Yeah, for music, for entertainment.
And Athol Historical Society is the next one, which is am I reading that right?
Yeah, that's a magazine that we gave them a couple last year.
Yeah, last year we ended up donating to them. And they're looking for $250. I don't think we gave them $250 though.
No.
I think it $50, $100.
It was. I just closed that page.
Is that uniquely Quabbin?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
$100.
Okay. Okay, and the next one I just cracked up when I read the title of it, COVID Cabaret. That's Ann Lyons. That's
the high school kids. In the past they've done a musical at the school, and because of the pandemic situation, they couldn't do it this year, and they were figuring they probably wouldn't be able to do it next year because it's something in the auditorium, and most of their income comes from ticket sales, and if you can't fill the house, you
can't pay for it.
You can't pay for it because it's expensive to put on a musical with by the time you pay the royalties and the scenery costs and the costumes and everything. So if they couldn't possibly do that kind of a show this year. So instead they want to do something
online, virtual. Right? Virtual, right? Which I think is a great idea, really is. And they're looking for $1,500 from us.
Yeah, and I think it's a shame that we've gone through this year and all the kids, the sports kids haven't been able to do sports, and the music kids haven't been able to play in the band, and so it would just be nice to be able to see the kids be able to put their talents out for everybody to see.
Yeah, I like that it will be held online, and a lot of people be able to see it, not just in our area too. So, okay, so that's our grant list.
And we have now people assigned to follow up on some of these things, so that when we.
Okay, so we have Virginia is going to check with John Porcino regarding To Life celebrations and story and song and music regarding the venue, and we're possibly steering it to Jackie Prime. And I am going to contact Dr. The Machine Jesse Green for Chainsaw Cheeseburger and Rock and Roll Live to find out what his thought is and how he's going to present that. Like, so we have a better understanding of his venue. We're assuming it's online, Zoom, but so when I get a better understanding of what he wants, I'll definitely make sure you guys know before we meet again.
And one thing, Lisa, we didn't because it's not on this list, because this list comes from the state. We might want to make a note at the bottom there. In the past, we've had ourselves listed for a grant for the arts
festival.
And if anybody has any ideas on a band to do that, that's, it's the opening performance for the Arts Festival weekend, and our steel drum band has retired. They've been absolutely terrific for, I don't know what we've had them, 5 years, more than 5 years. They've been a real upbeat, great beginning to the event, and they've retired. So we are on the hunt for some performers who could, jazz up the Arts Festival. I did contact New Players Theater Guild in Fitchburg, which has a singing group that goes out and does performances. They do they do plays at their theater in downtown Fitchburg, but they also have a group that goes out and does musical, a singing group. And they haven't got back to me yet because it's kind of wintertime and nobody's meeting. But that's one option we could consider if their group is a potential. But if anybody has any other ideas for a band or some kind of entertainment for that Arts Festival weekend, it would be great. And we should plug in for ourselves for $500 or something too.
I just say, what do you think? You want to do $550 just to make sure we have enough? Well, we also said that we want to use that 369. So if we reserve $550, but then have the 369.
396.
390. I keep messing it up. I'm sorry. So 500. You want to just say we leave ourselves then?
No, just leave it. I mean, we're going to vote next meeting, but just something to keep in mind as you're adding up what you want, how you want to spend your money. Keep in mind that we want to do something for the Arts Festival.
I was thinking that when we had the Mac and Cheese Festival in town, we had a couple of groups that performed at the Mac and Cheese Festival. And you might think about contacting them if you were looking for musicians, because they came every year for the Mac and Cheese Festival.
Yeah, Gail Noel would know that, right?
Yeah. But I believe there were two or three different groups that performed.
Yeah. I mean, personally, I'd like to see something that's not a local country group, because we get a lot of that at the other events, like the Kite Festival and the Motorpalooza and stuff. I'd love something that would be different, And
I think that's what these were. They were more kind of country.
But I'll see what information Gail has.
Okay, so I guess we're gonna. Does anybody have anything else that we need to discuss tonight?
Now the website, the Mass Cultural website, I think still has old dates on it for what all the deadlines are for all these things. Usually we have our voting meeting actually in December, and obviously we didn't have it because we didn't have a budget yet. At the
Till
time
January 7th, right? Yeah.
So I'm not sure what deadline they have for us to have a voting meeting and send out approval or denial letters, but I'll find that out when I talk to Veronica on Thursday from the state, and I can let everybody know what the what the time frame that the state is setting up is, and then Lisa will be able to schedule a meeting for voting on these applications.
Yeah, so I would probably think it's probably has to be sometime early February, correct? I think everything just kind of got moved out a month.
I'm guessing.
Yeah. So probably like the first week of February, we'll be probably looking at possibly deciding on how we're going to do this, how we're going to allocate, who's going to be the grantees. And I'll check with the calendar and TCTV once we find out exactly when it all needs to be taken care of. So just keep in mind, you'll probably have to be part of a meeting sometime the first or second week of February. So anything else that we have to discuss tonight? Any thoughts, concerns?
I'll get the budget information to you as soon as possible after my Thursday meeting with the state, and you can see exactly where we stand. But I think if we wanted to, we could probably fund every one of these things, probably in full.
Yeah, I'm kind of getting that feeling myself.
And we have to allocate the money. I mean, the problem is the state gives us the funding, and we have to, whether we allocate it all to these applicants or, want to set some aside for some kind of a separate fund or something, but we have to come up with a number that accommodates everything that the state gives us. We can't have leftover money hanging around.
Okay. And like you had said, you roughly think we have like 12 that everybody's asked like $12,000, and we have roughly about 14 that we can spend.
I think it's going to be close to that. I mean, like I say, we have to deduct some of the things and add in some of.
Okay.
I'll let you
All
know.
right. All right. Well, that'll make the decision a little, how that we don't have to break it down. If we could fully fund everybody, that would be fabulous. But we definitely have to have better numbers before we decide to do that anyway. So, all right. Well, a motion to adjourn.
I move it. We adjourn.
Thank you, Sally. Thank you, everybody, for participating tonight.
No, okay, thank you.
All right. We'll talk to you later. Bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.